Command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant, nor to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. My name is Canon Timothy Good, and I'm the Canon for Congregational Discipleship and Nurture here at York Minster. And the theme for this month of September is living generously. And these words of Paul to Timothy speak directly into our lives today. Few of us would necessarily call ourselves rich, yet compared to much of the world, we have homes, food, healthcare, and freedom. Paul does not criticize wealth itself, but he does warn against two particular and pertinent dangers: arrogance, the idea that what we have is ours by right, and misplaced trust, the belief that possessions or savings can ultimately secure our future. Both of these dangers have the real potential for cutting us off from the generosity of God. Instead, Paul directs our gaze to the true source of life. For generosity begins with God. Creation itself is abundant: light, love, forgiveness, hope. When we give, we are called to act, not out of a sense of duty, but as a joyful response to what God has already so abundantly given us. So generosity is not an optional extra for Christians. It is the very evidence of our faith. It is not just about money, but about the openness of hand and heart, sharing time, offering hospitality, listening to others, forgiving freely, and using our own resources and talents for the good of all. Generosity also has an eternal perspective, for what we give away is never lost, but is invested in the coming of God's kingdom. And in a culture that so prizes accumulation, the gospel tells us that true life is found in letting go. This is why, as a church, we invite people to consider joining the parish giving scheme, details of which are on the York Minster website. It is a practical way of putting Paul's teaching into action, committing regularly and intentionally to invest in the living out of God's work through the local church. It liberates us as a Minster to plan our ministry, sustain our mission, and extend our welcome. Most of all, it helps each of us to grow in the habit of generosity, rooting our hope not in wealth, but in God's abundance. Paul concludes with this promise, that when we give, we take hold of the life that is truly life. Generosity is not about losing, it is about discovering freedom, joy, and life in Christ. So let us live generously, share freely, and give abundantly, reflecting the God who gave everything, even his Son, that we might live. Thank you so much for listening, and may God bless you all.